Today's video is going to be on setting up schedule templates and assigning those schedule templates to the employees and manually adjusting an employee's schedule. We're in our time application for our integrated payroll product, and this is the dashboard of the time product here. We're going to hold our mouse over configuration, down to rule setup, and over and down to schedule templates. You can see I've got 3 templates in here already, and each database that's set up for a client should have at least one schedule already in it. And I say that because as we click to add a new schedule template, it's going to ask if I want to copy an existing schedule template. So I'm going to say yes, because I can go in and change whatever's in there anyways, but when I select copy, it's going to bring over the things I already have selected in the minutes I have put in, so I don't have to do it over again. First thing you want to do is name the template. So we may name this one 7 to 4. We'll do 3:30 p.m. Round and grace. This is going to round their time or grace them in or out based on their schedule start time and end times here. So basically, if I've got 7 minutes up here, if they clock in, they're supposed to clock in at 8. If they clock in at 7:55, it will start their time at 8 o'clock. If they clock in at 7:53, it's going to start the clock ticking for them at 8 o'clock. When they clock out, how many minutes do you want it to round back to their scheduled time, which in this case is going to be 3:30. Typically, if you're going to do one up here, the same should be down here, and the same for your grace in or grace out, which is before leaving for the day. So, or grace in if they're late. The important thing in rounding is that it should be fair for both the employee and the employer. It should not be heavy-handed. Having said that, check with your local state policies or your attorney to find out what the best practice would be for your company. So I can round out after 7. Maybe I want to do the grace in and grace out 5 minutes. My report exceptions. This is the number of minutes I consider being okay before reporting is early. So if they're 5 minutes early, I'm fine. If they're more than 5 minutes early, it's going to be generated on the report for the tardies. Same with the out. If they clock out up to 8 minutes early, we're good. But if it's earlier than 8 minutes that they're leaving, I want to see it on the report. Same with the late in. How many minutes for them clocking in late do we want to essentially grace to where we don't count as an exception? And how many minutes after their scheduled stop time do we want to consider okay? Or how much after do we want it to report on? Lunches are the same thing. This is a 30-minute lunch for this schedule as it sits right now. I want to see an exception if somebody clocks in under 30 minutes. I want to see an exception if they take longer than 31 minutes. I also want to see if they didn't clock in during any particular day that they were scheduled to clock in. So these are the 3 major things up here to set up for. Typically, once you set up the first one and you go through and copy like we did to bring this up, you don't have to go in and set this up every single time. It's already going to be there. The only thing from there you need to do is see if you need to create a schedule for a holiday. And there may be instances where in the holiday settings, you've set it to award them their scheduled hours for holiday. So if somebody's set to work for 6 hours on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, then when I have create schedule on the holiday, it's going to create the schedule, and the system's going to be able to give them the 30 minutes or the 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever they work, scheduled to work for on that holiday. Down here, I'm just going to go through and delete all these. I really don't need them. I could have left one open and just modified it, but I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch. Add new. Day of the week is Monday. The start time, as we set up there, was going to be 7 a.m. I can just use the number 7. I could use 7 a.m. I could do 7:00 a.m. I could do 7:00 a.m. Whatever works best for you. You can input military time directly into here, which 7 is considered 7 a.m., 19 would be considered 1900 or 7 p.m. Or you can click on this here and go through and just select a time. We'll come down here and we'll choose 3:30. Lunchtime. How many minutes of lunch do they get? 30, 45, an hour. You're going to enter that in here in minutes. Lunch start. There needs to be something in here. This has nothing to do with the employee on the time they start lunch, although it could be coincidental that if you put in 12 noon, that could be the time everybody stops and goes to lunch. It really doesn't matter. I want a value somewhere between 7 a.m. and 3:30 in here, and I usually do halfway in between. So 11 a.m. would be 4 hours, and that's good. It's just halfway. It's arbitrary. It just needs to be between the start and the end. This is actually used for a different area, but for continuity reasons, it needs to be put in case you use this particular schedule for, say, a salary worker that has the same start and stop time that you're automatically generating timesheets. It'll know to throw out a lunch for them at 11 a.m. So here we click Save. Now I've got that set up, and each day in this template is going to be 7 a.m. to 3:30, although it technically doesn't have to be, but that's how we're setting up the template. And we could do this Tuesday through Saturday. So now I need to come back in here and change this to a Tuesday. So I've got this in here, and I want to copy this to the other days of the week that this template is going to pertain to. So this is the one I want to copy. I only have one in here, so that's all I have to worry about. And then I'm going to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm leaving Sunday blank because he doesn't work. We're leaving Monday blank because, again, this is a Tuesday through Saturday schedule. I click Copy, and it automatically inserts those in for me. I don't have to go one by one. I only needed to do one. But maybe on Fridays, it's an early day or a late day. I can come in here and I can put in 3:30 and save. So now I've got my template set up. I just go ahead and click Save down here. If I need to put another one in, I can do that. I'm just going to close this. There's my template, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Now I can assign this one at a time through the employee details, or I can do it in bulk from here. I click Assign Employees. Nobody's assigned to this yet, so I don't see any employees. Now I can click Filter, and that's going to list all the employees that I have access to, and I can check them off one at a time however I want to do this. The other way, I could also choose Department and maybe Department 2 and click Filter. These are the employees and only the employees whose default department is department number 2. I could click this and it's going to assign all of them at once. Or I could go through and select just a few different people from this. I go ahead and click Confirm. Also up here under Card ID, if you knew what their card ID is, and this is it, 8, 13, 18, you could put that in and click Filter, or Name and Filter, and that'll bring these up as well. So I have these people selected. I'm going to select Confirm. Are you sure you want to save changes? Yes. Employees assigned successfully. Now it's asking me, when do I want to start this schedule? Depending on your operation, you may use Start on Next Pay Period, or if you're just adding employees and setting things up, you may want to use Rebuild the Current Pay Period and click Save. So those employees are now assigned to that particular schedule that we just added. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps.